Please also give a warm welcome to her parents, Katie and Michael Utz, her brother Yorick, and his friend Olivia Bryson. So it's my absolute pleasure today to introduce our speaker, Linnea Utz. She's a student so talented and so creative and so wonderfully unpredictable that even her resume looks like a plot of a fantasy adventure. First, let's talk about her artistic skills. Whether she's wielding a stylus, a paintbrush, or a handful of carefully folded origami paper, she creates masterpieces in every medium. And soon, she'll be taking that talent back to Germany to study art restoration, or at least that's what I think we're doing. So in a few years, if you're out on one of our global trips and you see a centuries-old painting looking suspiciously flawless, you probably know who to thank. She's also been an environmental champion as co-president of the Green Club and one of the founding members of the Origami Club. Why just save the planet when you can also make tiny paper animals doing it? Now, if you're on campus last year, you probably saw her cruising in on her trusty longboard like the protagonist of an indie coming-of-age film. When she wasn't defying physics or being reminded of the force of gravity, she was likely deep in a graphic novel, binging on epic anime, or making a movie night sacred as a family tradition. But perhaps her most underrated talent is her ability to defy the laws of physics with homemade bubble juice. If you attended the Giles' birthday celebration, you probably witnessed her sorcery firsthand, creating bubbles so massive they had their own gravitational pull. And in case you think she's only breathing light into art, let me point out that she is currently performing extensive reconstructive surgery on a very broken and sad skeleton for the anatomy class. It lived a hard life, but thanks to Linnea, it may actually live again. So without further ado, Linnea Utz.
So my speech today is about strabismus. Now, for those who do not know what strabismus is, it's a visual disorder in which the eyes are misaligned. So you have cross-eyed or lazy eye. This is also often called a squint. There are three main types of strabismus. There is a paralytic, concomitant, and latent or hidden squint. For the paralytic squint, the outer eye muscle is paralyzed, so it cannot move. While for the other two, the outer eye muscle is too long, making it difficult to keep the eye in its original position. While one is born with the hidden squint, one gets the concomitant squint in the first 2 years of life, and the paralytic squint is caused by different medical conditions, so it occurs randomly. The paralytic and the concomitant squint are always visible, and as the latent squint says, it is hidden most of the time and only visible when one is drunk or sick or tired, as the body and brain are usually able to compensate for the misalignment. I will be focusing on the latent squint, as it is the condition that I have. While those people that do have the squint are mostly not affected by it in their daily life, those who are get symptoms like burning and or shaking eyes, headaches, nausea, dizziness, motion sickness, and even difficulties walking. This is caused by the brain trying to shift the eye into a parallel position, which takes a lot of energy and is usually not successful. So there's a slight disalignment, and the images are not perfectly aligned, causing double vision and blurry vision, which can cause things as motion sickness. Sometimes the brain even tries to merge the images by making them look like they're moving, which can cause driving difficulties, anxiety, and sensory overload, as things that aren't moving seem like they are. It also sometimes happens that if the misalignment is too big, that it shuts off one of its eyes, which causes the brain to have to use one 2D image to create a 3D image, and uses shadows and other things to estimate where the stuff is positioned, which leads to depth perception problems, and people are usually seen as clumsy as they fall over, trip a lot, and knock stuff over as they thought it was somewhere else. And when people try to correct the squint by tilting their head, they usually get neck and back problems. The diagnosis is difficult to do as it's not evident that the symptoms are caused by the misalignment of the eyes, so often it gets misdiagnosed as an inner ear disorder, migraines, and even dyslexia and dyscalculia. As standard tests also, standard vision tests also do not identify a hidden squint, as a squint can also happen only in a close-up vicinity instead of a distance as the angle gets too big. I was one of those people where the 20/20 vision test did not work, so I got diagnosed with dyslexia even though I don't technically have it, as I can learn reading the normal way. It's just I couldn't see it the right way. However, there's two tests that can accurately tell you if someone has a squint. There's the cover test, in which they cover one eye while you look at an object, and if you uncover that eye and the eye the covered eye moves back to a parallel position with the other eye, then you have a squint. If it already is in a parallel position, then you do not have a squint. However, this does not tell you in which direction the squint is, while the Schrobi test, which is in the top right corner, shows you a red cross and two green circles, sometimes only one green circle, and if the cross is not in the middle, then it is tells you that you have a squint, depending on how far away it is, or if it's not even there, then you have a larger squint. You can also tell by the position of the cross, the misalignment, so if it's higher up, then it's different than if it's off to the right side of the circle. This test also helps with prescribing glasses for treatment, as you can use it as a reference. There's also other treatments, which are eye training, exercises, and fusion training for small kids. However, they're rarely done, as the kids tend to not be diagnosed at that time yet. Sometimes they also do Botox injections, but surgeons usually do not like doing it. The most common ones, though, are the occlusion therapy, in which they tape one of the eyes to force the untaped eye to work harder and get used to using a lot of force. And the other one is prism glasses, in which the prism bends the light so that it hits the back of the retina without the brain having to force the eyes into a parallel position. With the prism glasses, you can usually lower the misalignment far enough for it to not affect the person anymore. However, sometimes it is too high, and instead they have to increase the misalignment so that they can do a surgery, as the surgery is cutting the muscle and reattaching them. And if the muscle isn't long enough, they will have a bigger error after cutting it than you already had to begin with. And this is a picture of how the prism glasses work. You can see that the light does not, in the first one, hit the back of the eye the way it's supposed to, while on the second one with the glasses it kind of bends it, and then you get the two emissions that you're supposed to have, and it also helps with headaches and motion sicknesses. And I chose this topic as my mom learned how to become an optometrist, and if she had not taken the whole class, she would have never found out that she had a hidden squint. And through this, she could get treatment and notice that me and my brother also had it, and went to multiple eye doctors in hopes of them realizing that we need the treatment, which took many of hours and usually long drives that took the whole day just to get treated. And also, one of the problems is that some of the surgeons do not listen to the doctors that diagnosed it. So even though you have the condition and it has been proven by a doctor, the surgeon that do the operation do not do the surgery. So it takes usually a while to find not only a doctor that is willing to treat your condition, but also to get the surgery if you really need it. And that is why I chose this topic. So if you are clumsy or ever meet someone like a little sister or whatever that seems clumsy, you might want to get the eyes checked out, especially if they get told they're dyslexic, because maybe they're not, maybe there's a better way to fix it than just saying they're going to grow out of it.